Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we will start the summary of week number 7, lecture number 13 and 14. In this week we will try to understand goal setting and developing the plans. In previous week we had studied the types of goals and the types of plans. Now and types of plans. Now we will try to understand how can we set the goals and how can we develop plans for our organizations. So first of all we will discuss goal setting, and there are two ways to set the goals. Number one, traditional goal setting, and number two, management by objective. So we will discuss these both methods of setting goals one by one. First of all, let's discuss traditional goal setting. As students, as we know that there are three levels of management: top level, middle level and low level. Normally and generally and traditionally, goals are set at the top level, then they are sent to middle level, and middle level set goals for low level, and lower level with the help of non-managerial employees, low level achieve the goals which are set for them by the middle management, and middle management basically break the goals given by the top level management. So this is the traditional way of setting the goals and assigning the duties to lower level. So here if we can see, so let's start looking at the diagram first. In this diagram we have seen that this is top level management, middle level management and low level management. So students, first of all, goals are set at top level, then they are transferred to division level, then transferred to departmental level, and then these are transferred to low level. As I have told you that goals set at the top, then communicated to middle level and then communicated to low level. So here we can see that the goals which are set by the top level is that we need to improve the company's performance. The top level wants to improve the performance of company. Then at divisional level, the boss or HOD or general manager or director of a division says that I want to see significant improvement in this division's profit. So in middle level, at divisional level, boss wants a significant improvement in the division's profit because top level wants improvement in the performance. Departmental level, increase profits regardless of means. So then when the goals are communicated to the departmental level, then they will say that we have to increase the profit regardless of means. If our quality is not good, it is okay, but our profit should be high. And at the end, at individual level, the individuals will inherit the goals from middle level management, and they will say, don't worry about the quality, just work fast. So students, here, since at top level management it is decided to improve the performance, then the same goal is transmitted and communicated to the lower level, and the individuals at lower level, employees at lower level will see and will do the same what is said or what is directed by the top level management. So students, next we have steps in goal setting. So there are some 5 steps in goal setting. Step number 1, review the organization mission. Students, first of all, as I have told you that first of all company's mission is made. First of all, when company is established, first of all we make company's mission. On the basis of company's mission, we make organizational goals. On the basis of organizational goals, we make departmental goals. On the basis of departmental goals, we make individual goals. So the organization, whatsoever the goals are set by the organizations, it basically set the goals of the organization as per the rules, as per the mission of the organization. So first of all, we have to understand the mission and purpose of the organization. When we have made the purpose of the organization, keeping in mind the mission or the purpose or vision of the organization, companies evaluate the available resources. Whether do we have the resources to achieve this mission or not. If we do not have the resources, then we have to arrange the resources according to our requirement. Then individual the goals. Number 1, individually with input from others. And as we have decided the mission, we have arranged the resources, and after arranging the resources, we have to set the goals for the individuals. Number 4, write down the goals, and after that communicate them to who need to know. So then, after determining the goals, after consulting from others, determining the goals, we have to communicate, we have to write down the goals first, and after that we have to communicate with those who need to know the goals. And at the end, when the goals are set, when the performance is made, we have to evaluate and review the results, whether we have achieved the goals or we have not achieved the goals. So this is the traditional way to set the goals. Number 1, we have understood from the diagram, and then we try to understand the steps of goal setting. Students, the another method of setting goals is MBO. MBO stands for management by objective. In management by objectives, as we have seen in traditional management, that top level management decides the goal, communicate the goals to middle, and middle level set the goals for low level and communicate them. Here, low level management is not involved in decision making. But if we talk about MBO, MBO is a criteria of setting the goals, where the goals are set by the both, number 1, organization and the employees. So students, as I have told you that in this MBO, goals are not set by top level management and communicated to lower level management, but goals are mutually decided by organization and low level management. This is alternative to traditional goal setting, which we have already studied. So there are 4 elements of the MBO. Number 1, first element of the goal setting of the MBO is goal specificity. Goals have to be specified. Number 2, participative decision making. This decision making is not autocratic. This is participative, where lower level management is participating in making the decisions. Number 3, an explicit time period. We have decided the time period, as we have studied that goals are short term, medium term or long term. And number 4, goals have performance feedback. So first of all, goals are set by top level management and low level management. Then they decide goals after mutual understanding. Then low level management starts performing, and top level management gives review and gives feedback to low level management on the performance made by the low level management or made by the employees. So there are 7 to 8 steps in MBO. We will discuss them shortly. First of all, organization's overall objectives and strategies are formulated. Overall objectives and strategies means company's mission, because the goals we have to make should be aligned with the mission of the organization. Number 2, major objectives are allocated at divisional and departmental level. Number 3, units management collaboratively set specific goals. Collaboratively means with their managers, low level and middle level. Then specific objective are collaboratively set with all department members. So we have also set the objectives. Then action plans defining how objectives are to be achieved are specified and agreed upon by managers and employees. So managers and employees, they mutually decide the action plan. The action plans are implemented, then low level management and employees start performing activities on the goals mutually decided. Number 7, progress towards objective periodically reviewed. Periodically reviewed means after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after a month, after 2 months, performance is reviewed and feedback is given to employees. If any correction is required, improvement is required, it is communicated. Number 8, successful achievements of objectives are reinforced by performance based rewards. So students, as we have already studied, and as you know, that if the performance is good, then performance will be reinforced. We will do the same activity again, and we will also provide rewards to those who perform well. This was goal setting, and we have studied 2 ways to set the goal. Number 1, traditional goal setting, where top level management decides the goal, and number 2, MBO, where top level management involves lower level management and employees to take part in taking decisions. So now we will move to our next topic, and next topic is developing plans. As we know that first we set the goals, and after that setting the goals, we develop plans to achieve the goals. So let's discuss the steps in setting the plans. First of all, we set the objectives. Objectives are basically the goals. Then we analyze and evaluate the environment. Environment means external factors. External factors means technology, economy, government policies, competitors, cultural factors. These are all the factors which are evaluated after setting the objectives. and we have seen that there are two types of environment. Number one, internal environment. Environment involves a company itself, the policies of the company, employees, rules, regulations, capital of the company, and other resources of the company. These are the factors of internal environment. And there is external environment, and the factors of external environment are, we have already studied. Above. So these are the factors which are called external environment. After analyzing and evaluating the environment, we determine the alternative. We determine the alternatives. Alternatives means if there is a problem, we can find 2-3 options which are called alternative. Alternatives are called mutabadil. If 1, 2, 3, so we have different options, and we have to evaluate that which option we should pursue and which option we should select. Then evaluate the alternatives. When we have 3 options, we have to evaluate each alternative, and we have to select only one. For example, we have selected option number 2. Okay, the best solution will be selected. Then we will implement on the plan, and after that we will control the plan if it is required. Okay. Number 2, strategic planning process. So we have studied 7 steps of planning, and this was normal and general planning, but there is another topic which is called strategic planning. And as I have told you earlier, and you know very well, that when we involve strategic planning, we have to keep 2 things in mind. Number 1, it should be long term, and it should cover entire organization. Okay, it is long term and it should cover entire organization. So first of all, we will see the purpose of strategic planning. The main purpose, or first purpose of strategic planning, is to have the entire organization long-term range, direction and commitments. So these are the 2 things which I have discussed just now. And the first purpose is to have entire organization plan, and number 2, long range direction, means long-term plans. Number 2, to provide multi-level involvement in the planning process. Multi-level means top level, middle level, low level, and top level, division level, departmental level, and low level. So we have multi-level involvement in the strategic planning. And number 3, to develop organization in which plans of subunits are harmonious with each other. So when we involve multi-level planning process, then we can say that the activities which are done by low level are aligned with the top level management. It means there is harmony with each other between the departments. So now we will start discussing the steps of strategic planning. So in strategic planning process, first of all, we have to define the central concept of the business. Central concept of business is basically the mission and vision, which we have already studied. Number 2, establish objectives of the organization. After keeping in mind the mission of the organization, we set the organization goals. After setting organization goals, we have to evaluate the environment. When we evaluate environment, we have to understand internal plus external environment. Number 4, we have subunits and have their goals. Subunits means we have some departments. and other units, and we have different goals for each department and each unit. Then compare lower level goals and close the gap. So if from top level, from middle level and low level, so when the goal is decided for low level management, we have to see whether the goal which is set by low level is aligned with top level or not. If it is aligned, then it is okay. If it is not aligned, if there is gap between the goal of the organization and goal set by the goal set for the lower level management, then organization will, then we have to close the gap. So this is top level and this is low level. There is very huge gap between the low level and top level, so we have to reduce the gap, close the gap, so everybody should be on the same page. Then we decide on a plan. After setting the goals, we decide a plan. After deciding the plan, we start implementation on the plan, and after implementing, we control and evaluate the performance of employees, and we correct if it is required. So there are some barriers in planning. So dear students, we see that if we plan properly, we will definitely get success. But we have seen different organizations which are becoming failure and which are not getting success and which are being insolvent. So we have to see that what are the reasons which restricts organization to get success, or what are the barriers in the planning. Sometimes we try to plan, but our planning is not adequate. So first of all, we will see the barriers. Number one, inability to plan. Plans, those individuals are planning for the organization who do not deserve to be at the top level. People do not have capability or conceptual ability to plan for the organization. Number two, improper planning process. They do not follow the planning process properly. They do not follow the steps of the planning process. Number three, lack of commitment to the planning process. There are some people or organizations who are not committed to the steps of the planning process. Number four, improper information. They do not have adequate information. That's why they get failure. Focusing on the present at the expense of future. So we have to focus on future, and long-term planning should be there in strategic planning. So if we focus on present, then we will definitely face problems in future. Too much reliance on planning department. We rely on planning department only, and we do not improve any other department of the organization. So we have to set other. We have to keep other departments also in the loop, so we can get success. And the last hurdle is concentrating only on controllable variables. Students, there are some variables which are controllable and there are some variables which are not controllable. For example, the economy of a country is not in our control. Government restrictions which is not under our control, and there are some other factors which are not controllable. So we have to make plans for those variables which are controllable and also those which are not controllable. So students, now we will discuss how can we make our planning effective and what should be helpful for the planning. So first of all, as much information as possible. So first of all, when we start planning, we have to get as much relevant information and adequate information as possible. Number two, we should not focus on only one source of information. We have to find information from multiple sources so we can get different opinions. Number three, involve others in planning process. Don't think that you are the sole authority to take decision and you are the only person who can make good planning. No, you should get help from others and involve others in the planning process. So these are the three aids which can be helpful for planning. And students, this was all from week number 7. So inshallah we will see you again with week number 8. Till then, Khuda Hafiz.